Aliens called for backup. Then Earth's Deathworlders arrived. The Salkari were not a species known for overconfidence. Cold-blooded, logic-driven reptiloids, they calculated every move like a precise algorithm. So when they invaded the planet Yurralians, they had expected minimal resistance. The Yurralians were a soft species, fuzzy, four-eyed herbivores with high-pitched voices and even higher pacifist tendencies. The Salkari had conquered 3 such worlds this cycle alone. But Yurralians was different. The first signs came from the orbital surveillance feeds. Salkari ground troops deployed in neat formations, their armored exosuits glinting under the planet's pale blue sun. Yurralian settlements burned. Screams echoed through the comms as the resistance was crushed, until something unexpected arrived on the field. They looked human, but they weren't Yurralian colonists. These creatures were larger, clad in matte black combat rigs with sharp-angled helmets, and they moved like predators stalking prey. The initial encounter was brief. A Salkari patrol cornered what they believed to be Yurralian allies, hiding among the rubble of a settlement. The Deathworlders emerged from the smoke, silent as wraiths, and slaughtered the entire patrol in under 20 seconds. The feed cut out mid-scream. General Skrell Varn watched the recordings in disbelief. His slitted eyes narrowed as he analyzed the unfamiliar combatants. Bipedal, armed, coordinated, efficient, not Yurralian. His tongue flicked across his scaled lips in agitation. Where did these things come from? Varn demanded. "They are human, sir," replied the intelligence officer, his scales paling with stress. "But not ordinary humans." "Explain." The officer hesitated. "They're referred to as Deathworlders." Varn's claws clicked on the holodeble. He'd heard the term whispered across military channels, always accompanied by tales of brutal efficiency and unnerving resilience. It was said Deathworlders originated from a planet so lethal it bred apex predators that walked upright and spoke in threats. And apparently, they answered distress calls from weak, pacifist species now. Varn straightened. "Send for reinforcements. Now." The message burst through subspace, reaching the Salkari fleet stationed at the edge of the sector. Warships, troop transports, orbital artillery. The Salkari brought overwhelming force to every battlefield. They expected no different this time. But by the time the reinforcements arrived, the situation on Yurralians had deteriorated beyond belief. Entire Salkari platoons went dark. Command outposts found their security networks hacked. Defenses turned against their own troops. The Deathworlders didn't engage in open warfare. They hunted. Night after night, Salkari forces vanished from their barracks, dragged into the darkness with only the sounds of muffled screams and gunfire marking their passing. Varn's patience cracked when his frontline base, fortified, shielded, and manned by over 200 Salkari soldiers, was found abandoned, with only the words "Welcome to Hell" scorched into the concrete landing pad. The reinforcements deployed immediately. Dropships rumbled through the atmosphere, disgorging heavily armed troops across key positions. Orbital sensors scanned for human life signatures. Drones patrolled the skies, but the Deathworlders were already among them. They sabotaged power grids, rigged supply lines with explosives, and spread terror like a virus. Their understanding of asymmetrical warfare was horrifyingly precise. The Salkari's technological superiority was meaningless against a species whose entire existence was shaped by surviving lethal environments and fighting off apex predators. Lieutenant Kesh, a decorated Salkari squad leader, encountered the Deathworlders firsthand during a sweep of the northern jungles. His unit, 12 strong, moved in formation, scanners active, weapons hot. But the jungle was eerily silent. No wildlife, no wind, just quiet. Then the first body dropped from the canopy above. Kesh didn't recognize it first. It wore human armor, but the biological remnants inside were mangled beyond recognition, clearly the victim of some earlier conflict. But pinned to the corpse's chest was a message, scrawled in blood-red paint. "You're next." A plasma bolt lanced from the foliage, taking out Kesh's rearguard. Shadows shifted. Muzzle flashes lit the darkness. The Salkari returned fire, but their rounds hit nothing but air and leaves. The Deathworlders melted through the terrain like ghosts. By the time Kesh's unit made it back to base, only he remained, limping, bleeding, and babbling about monsters in human skin. The Salkari reinforcements fared no better in urban zones. Deathworlders set traps so ingeniously cruel they bordered on sadistic. Entire squads vanished into collapsing buildings. Mines disguised as discarded equipment shredded armored vehicles. Snipers used sonic rounds that caused excruciating neural feedback, incapacitating Salkari soldiers before they ever saw their attacker. The worst came when Orbital Command detected unauthorized signals bouncing off the planet's ionosphere. The Deathworlders were broadcasting, but not to each other, to off-world human networks. More were coming, and they did. The second wave arrived, not with flashy starships or grandiose war banners, but with sleek, black-hulled gunships and stealth cruisers that evaded Salkari sensors entirely until they were practically within spitting distance of the fleet. The Salkari Navy scrambled fighters and activated defense grids, but it was too late. The human ships, Deathworlder-class strike vessels, unleashed kinetic rods, railgun fire, and precision missile strikes with brutal efficiency. The Salkari orbitals crumbled. Carriers burned. Transports detonated in showers of flame and debris. General Varn, watching from his flagship, could barely process the carnage. Human ships danced through their defensive formations like wolves among sheep. "Pull back," Varn roared. "We need to regroup." But the humans didn't give them the chance. Drop pods rained from the upper atmosphere, streaking like meteorites through the clouds. Deathworlders poured onto the surface, more than before. Heavier armor, advanced weapons. Their insignia bore grim, tooth-filled skulls and jagged planetary outlines marked Terra. Varn's claws dug into his console. He had underestimated them. They weren't just mercenaries or rogues. The humans had mobilized their Deathworld legions. Across Ural, the tide turned with terrifying speed. Salkari strongholds were overrun. Defensive lines collapsed. Entire battalions surrendered, only to be marched into prison camps where Deathworlder guards loomed like predatory statues, watching with cold, calculating eyes. The final blow came when the humans hacked the Salkari command network and broadcast a message planet-wide. The feed opened with the image of a human soldier, helmet off, revealing a scarred, hard-faced woman with eyes like storm clouds. "I'm Captain Marlowe of the Terran Exo-Legions," she said, her voice carrying the weight of a predator addressing prey. "You invaded a peaceful species under our protection. You thought the Yurralians were alone. You were wrong." She leaned forward, expression darkening. "Humans don't abandon allies. And Deathworlders? We hunt the hunters." The feed cut out. Within days, the Salkari retreated entirely from Ural 4. Their battered fleets limped out of orbit, pursued by human ships, harassed by Deathworlder operatives who ensured their exit was as humiliating as possible. The galactic community watched in stunned silence as the reports flooded in. For centuries, the Salkari had been feared, efficient conquerors with little mercy. But they had called for backup, and Earth's Deathworlders had answered. The message was clear, etched into the ruins of Salkari outposts and the blackened hulls of their fallen ships. Mess with the weak, and the monsters from Earth will come. And when they come, nothing survives.